Hello, this is Reverend Jason coming to you from beautiful Danville, home of the Correllian tradition. Um, Today, I thought I'd talk about me. This will be this will be my 20 years as a third degree. Um, really, don't talk much about me. Um, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, comments will appear. Um, like I said, this year I'll be celebrating my 20 years as third degree. I've been a first degree clergy since 1997. Um, the 1997 is also the year I graduated high school. Um, uh, I've been involved with the tradition since 1997. I've come and I've gone. In 2004, I really got involved with the tradition um, on Witches Across America tour, where I got to meet several members of the tradition. Got to meet Olivia Roberts up in Chicago at the FOI convention. Um, that was a very interesting experience. Um, I got to hear her sing "I'm a Little Teapot" from Alice in Wonderland. She was a very interesting individual, very kooky. Loved her dearly. Um, it's where I met Tony um, for the first time over in California. Um, got to stay with a Mitra in Santa Fe. Gorgeous place. Gorgeous place. Gorgeous. I would love to go back there. Mountains are beautiful there. First time eating elk in a game burger. Um, like I said, a lot of the times I'm behind the cameras. A lot of the videos that have been taking place at illustrations and things, I'm the one behind the camera. Um, Very first illustration, since this is illustration week. Hi, Brian. Yes, I know I'm not Don. Like I said, I'm talking about adventures and misadventures. Witches Across America tour was very interesting. Like I said, I got to see different places. Made a lot of my several states off my checklist. I'm down to having in the connecting states, Maine. I've still have not made it to Maine yet. I want to go to Bangor, Maine. Obvious reasons. I'm a Stephen King fan. Um, and then Hawaii and Alaska are the other two states I've not been to yet. Wife has Hawaii on me, but that's amazing, Brian. What was it? Oh, and art galleries. Santa Fe is known for its art galleries. We went to several there. That was cool. Um, the FOI convention. It's also the first time I got to meet Don's ex-wife. Hi, Antonio. I'm sorry, Tony. Let's see. It's also where we developed the mantra "turn around and go back." We were in Seattle. We were going up to meet Pete Pathfinder after going to a ritual just outside of Seattle. But we were staying in Seattle. This road in Seattle had two different names. Well, we were trying to find the hotel, and like I said, the road had two different names. So they were telling me to turn on this road, and that wasn't the name of the road. So we had to drive past it, come back, and like I said, it did add a different name on the other side of the road. Um, like I said, it was very surreal. What led me to joining the Witches Across America tour was after my second degree initiation. Um, my life changed dramatically. I became homeless and jobless at that same time. So it gave me perfect opportunity to join Rev Don on this trip. And like I said, there was a lot of driving. But I got to see, like I said, a lot of things. Mount Rushmore. Uh, there's pictures of me out there in front of Of course, when we showed up, it had to be an overcast day and cloudy, so really couldn't see it very well. But we were there. Devil's Tower. Uh, Stayed in Long Beach. Got to see, like I said, meet with Pete Pathfinder. He is a very interesting individual. Um, very down to earth, but he also gave us examples on how to present ourselves in the mundane world. You should dress. You should put on a collar. You should wear collared shirts, button-down shirts. You should appear as a reverend, not hubcap pentagrams, and when going to political meetings and things like that, you should introduce yourself as yourself. Hey, my name's Pete, and get to know the locals before you. So he was taught me a lot about interfaith on how to act, or outside in the main mundane world. Um, it's also where I got a couple. It's where I on this trip is also where I got Roger. Um, Roger's my staff that I use for tradition stuff. Is there any questions for me? Um, on this trip is also when I got to see Washington D.C. for the first time. That was kind of again surreal. I love Washington D.C. These huge, massive buildings, and then you turn just a little bit and you see a Starbucks. Granted, I'm not a big, huge Starbucks fan, but I guess our government does run on coffee because there's quite a few when I saw there. Um, Also got to brief tour while I was in Washington D.C. Georgetown University. That was never go there, but it was very beautiful campus. The Taro Hikate, yes, we actually possibly found a local distributor that we can go through to get them, and we're currently working on them to get them through that company. We're having to redo the cards to make them fit in their uh, to their format. So it's going to be a little bit before we can get them on through that local distributor. Um, I think they the company that we were using was based in China, and I think they were stolen because of the whole Trump thing. I mean, communication with them was just sporadic at best. I mean, they claimed that they had a problem with something. We would respond to them, and they might be 3 weeks before we'd hear anything back from them. Any other questions? Yes. Yeah, and it'll save us some problems. I hope. But like I said, this is illustration weekend, or illustration week. The very first illustration in 2001. I was supposed to have a part. I was all keyed up to go. I was going to be the son of Lucifer. I had my part, practiced it, but I was young at the time, younger, and work wouldn't let me off. Day before they said, "Nope, you got to work. You can't have the day off." I was majorly bummed. Really, really, really sucked for me, as I was so looking forward to it. But I've been at several illustrations now. Like I said, I kind of feels like a family reunion when we go to illustration. I mean, I get to see people I haven't seen in sometimes years show up to illustration, or they finally come to illustration. At the Parliament of World Religion, I've known Rain for 20 plus years, 30, almost 30 years. Uh, First time I got to meet her in person, but it was like seeing a distant cousin. She was just, like I said, we've talked for years and years and years, off and on, and it was really cool to see her in person. Uh, Seeing Apu for the first time. Like I said, I've known him for a while now, talked, and he came over from the Philippines. Got to meet him in person, and to give him a hug. He was so excited, uh, cried, tearing. It was great. Both of us were crying, tearing. Um, yeah, due to circumstances in my life, I had to take some personal time, and I won't be able to go to this restoration either, Tony. I'm very heartbroken about that. But I understand, life does happen. The spiritual side of us and the mundane need to make money side always is a tricky balance. I've fought it a lot. I mean, I did have to step back for a while when the kids were growing up because I had to do the dad thing, work, home, repeat to put food on the table. Wife was working too, but we had 4 kids at home. That Hi Ed, how are you doing today? Life, like I said, life balance sucks. Hi Kaylin, how are you doing today? So any questions about my adventures and misadventures of with the tradition? Actually, being trained to commune with the ancestors, I think that's one of my parts I enjoy. They are very knowledgeable and very beneficial, even in mundane. They are good at giving advice, and now and again, um, particularly ancestor I drawn to is Mabel, and she likes to hit me upside the head with the 2x4 to put me on the path and give me nice, wonderful headaches right here to letting me know that she would like to talk to me or they would like to talk to me on situations that are going on. Um, Other things I like about being third degree, um, having my own temple. Um, I mean, without having to, be under anybody. How I My first degree, I was trained by Lady Crystal and Becky Penry. Becky Penry found a pure sanctuary temple. During my first degree initiation, my oracle would have been told that I would be heavily involved with the tradition and that I would be head of pure sanctuary temple. And that kind of scared me a little bit. But years later, I'm now first director of the tradition and I'm head of pure sanctuary temple. So ancestors knew exactly what was going to happen. Um, Not really. I mean, uh, during times of turmoil in tradition, they seem to want to speak a little louder. And like I said, they will, when they want to speak, they will speak. And like I said, for me, they give me a nice headache right here in my frontal lobe. And um, another thing that kind of has changed, it's more, my interaction with them is more casual. I mean, when I first started to interact with them, uh, it was very formal. I was kind of like in this temple setting, and it was kind of like communing with the ancestors. They were all front, and they would talk to me. Now, if it's more casual. Like we're sitting on a front porch, and we're just chatting. But it could just be because they've gotten more comfortable with me. I don't know. Any other questions? Let's see. Um, Actually, one of my favorite things about lustration is the unpredictability. I mean, um, I can definitely tell when the ancestors are involved because they usually, why we've gone to plugging cameras straight into outlets is how many times the batteries have actually drained. Perfectly full batteries, and midway the cameras would just shut off because the batteries were dead. From spirit interactions and the energy in that are involved at lustrations. It is, at times, can be overwhelming. Don tells a story of how a person was up there doing the salt and water blessing, and she just started shaking. Well, you had a bunch of people behind her directing energy at her, cleansing the salt and water. She just became overpowered. She was the energy was so much it was causing me to shake. I mean, I would recommend at least for the Carillion following, at least go to at least one lustration, one global lustration. Um, it is a definitely an experience. Um, like I said, to in September be 20 years of me being a third degree. Um, Getting up to there. My people that taught me to communing with the ancestors was Lady Crystal and Lord Don. And uh, one of my experience was she told me not. Lady Crystal got a message that I was not supposed to practice for a while. So we stopped meeting, stopped practicing. Apparently, they had to realign my brain somehow. One evening, if anybody knows me, I'm a night owl. Second shift is my favorite shift to work, which a lot of people don't. I do. I fell asleep one night at about 8 o'clock. I don't fall asleep. I had a massive, I had a very high energy dream. Woke me up from there. Uh, Went to Don's office and explained what was going on. Apparently, at that time, they wanted to talk for about an hour, 2 hours. I was communing with the ancestors, and just they were just using me and just for 2 hours. I wish Lord Don would have recorded because I don't remember anything about channeling and things like that. If they're coming through and giving a message, if you're doing it right, you won't remember it because it's not your words; it's them speaking through you. Yeah, uh, I felt it can be tickling. I found it sometimes can be kind of prickly. Kind of like you know, I've, it's definitely energy. It definitely flows through you. But that was my crash course in channeling was that night, and ever since then I've been able to do it without being told no or having feeling blockage. So, all right, I guess we'll take a few minutes and play the commercial. And we're back. Actually, one of my favorite ancestors to talk with lately has been Lady Betterwin. She has always been a person to give good advice, sometimes chaotic advice, but good advice. Uh, One of her recent messages to me was to look at in her artwork. She was a very well-known artist in the tradition, and she in most of her artwork there is some male genitalia and female genitalia in her pictures. One of her recent messages was me to, when looking at life, look for the male, art and situations, just to try to put a smile on my face, because I've been dealing with some heavy personal issues. Uh, my son's girlfriend uh, committed suicide not too long ago. Um, I've been kind of dealing with that, uh, trying to, help my son. Uh, Possible. I was talking with Lord Don about um, actually doing a metaphysical, or I'm sorry, paranormal show again. And paranormal stuff is I'm interested in. I've been interested in most of my life. I've done on several ghost hunts, or and I'm I'm a technical geek. I will admit it. I like the technology, the EVPs, the using the stuff to cold spots and EMFs and all that stuff. I like technology. I like taking that and applying it. Yes, it is a very hard thing to deal with. Like I said, I've been dealing with that. That was the personal issue I mentioned. That I had to take some time off to for that. That's why I wasn't able to go to this illustration this time. And I still might be able to go to illustration, but I'll be through video like this. I might be, they might broadcast me and wish everyone well wishes. Well, it looks like we're coming to the end of the half hour. Let's end this with our prayer. Mother Goddess, Father God, ancestors, guardians, and totems, bless us this day. Show us the beauty in this world and understand that we are mere humans and we need your guidance. Mother Goddess, Father God, bless us today and bless you today. Have a wonderful day.